I just think that right now fashion is sort of in a state of like frenzy, and everything's in and nothing's out.
Like most fashionistas, SecondCityStyle.com editor Lauren Waters has a sense for style in all colors trending this spring. With Fashion Week strutting across the globe showcasing various designs, one can wonder if its models are just as diverse. This begs the question, are ethnic models just a trend in the ever-changing eye of fashion?
It's definitely a trend, and I can say this because it's not diversity at all, unless you are Asian or look like you're from a tribe in Africa. That's the best way to put it, where you have a shaved head and you're very, very dark. You're not going to work. There's no market for anyone outside of that.
With more than 22 years of experience on and off the runway, half Indian and half Dutch model Azura Sky Vandenberg continues to observe the pattern of the very strict color lines when it comes to race and fashion. Color blocking, the art of pairing bold and vibrant colors together, may be another huge trend. But according to Vandenberg, the world of fashion is painted black and white.
If you really look around and you look at any campaign, like even right now, you'll see a campaign that will either feature one Asian girl, and if it's not an Asian girl, it's a black girl. You'll never have a black and an Asian and Hispanic and a white person. That would just be impossible. Never do that.
Unbeknownst to the average consumer, the arrangement of products in ads or a campaign is what draws one in to make the decision to try or buy. Take, for example, the Westchester Mall in White Plains, New York. From glistening marble floors to an array of high-end stores, consumers like Janice Porter-Latine try to avoid becoming consumed by the luxury around her, and aware of the models used in advertisements.
I don't really, sometimes when I walk into a store, I do kind of look at the advertisements and see if there's more Hispanic or black ones, but sometimes, most of the time, it's not the case, and it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable, but I try not to let it sway me.
Why is it that fashion brands marketing to a ubiquitous and widely diverse public treat racial diversity as a matter of option instead of a preference? This comes as to no surprise to Beijing-born model Chanel L. King, whose resume includes posing and strutting for the likes of Givenchy and L'Oreal in fashion hotspots from Milan to South Africa and New York.
I've done jobs where I was the only black model. You know, your ethnicity as a black model, it's crucial. And when you go to a cast, there's only going to be 2 black models. So you go to the casting and there's other black models there. It's like you're 2 of you guys are only going to be booked. 2 of us are only going to be booked for this job.
Chanel appears unconcerned that getting cast is a numbers game, with an apparent quota for each race.
I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, It's just how the industry is, and I've come to understand and accept that. I just, every time I go to casting, I just cross my fingers and hope that I'm, the girl that they choose.
But Vandenberg finds the quota system puts her at a huge disadvantage.
Coming here, the Indian girls I do compete with are supermodels from India. Literally, there's 5 of us in the entire city. But you would think, oh, only 5 Indian girls. But it's 5 Indian girls going for one spot that may occasionally come up. So it's really hard.
While Azura may fear competing for one spot in an already narrowed lane is difficult for ethnic models, Chanel takes the high road and promotes proficiency.
There's competition certainly among models, not only models of color. I think professionalism has a lot to do with, how much you work and, if you're going to get booked again.
Bearing a polished persona or not, competition among models of any stature may not be enough when it comes to the standards and specificity of a casting. African-American model Mariah Cheney and Caucasian model Alyssa Pazak of Decorum Model Management share their experiences.
I've been modeling, like I said, over 25 years, and if a client wants to use me in a print ad, it's because they want an African-American model that has my features, my specific looks. It's very specific.
And that's why,
it's deep.
When girls start modeling, they get really hurt by the rejection. Well, it's not necessarily rejection. There might be another blonde, green-eyed girl sitting next to me, but if she has more curves than I do and they need something where they don't need a lot of curves, she's automatically going to be ruled out.
As vice president of Simon Fashion Group and casting agent for Paystack and Cheney, Jack A. Ellis gives her stance on how deliberate and detail-oriented a casting can be when it comes to a model's appearance.
What happened with Michelle, Eric said, okay, can she wear her hair straight last night? Right. And my response back to him is, we booked her with the naturally curly hair. We wanted that
So get it
look.
curly.
I always want a redhead. I want, I'm getting to be brunettes. I need some more blonde. So, they're dead on.
Over the years, the art of fashion has continued to evolve, transcending style and beauty. But with restrictions on which models are chosen to showcase, the progress seems to have been a very progressive underpinning.
That has to do a lot with the generation. Some people are moving forward with the generation. Some people are very traditional. They're stuck with, old high fashion.
Some designers are on it and some still hold back.
Even iconic supermodel Chanel Iman has fallen under the weight of the quota system she found discouraging. The half-Korean, half-African-American Victoria's Secret model told the Sunday Times magazine she got excused by designers who told her, "We already found one black girl. We don't need you anymore." Chanel King reports that on rare occasions, she's been chosen to walk in a less than diverse fashion show.
Of course, they have to have the token black girl. I mean, of course, you're gonna be upset, but there's other castings and other jobs.
But just how much work is there for an average ethnic model these days? Only a handful, according to Azura and Mariah.
The castings are much less. My friends that are white will probably have 30 castings a week, where if you are ethnic, you will have 5.
Sometimes you'll see a fashion show that may have 20 models in it, and I'm just throwing that number out there, but you might only see 2 black models or 2 African American models or 2 that you can actually tell what they are.
Premier Model Management founder Carol White has showcased the likes of Naomi Campbell and Cindy Crawford. She gave an interview to the Guardian Online magazine in which she said that, quote, "It's a lot harder to start a black girl than a white girl." And she added that there's not so much work for them because sometimes photographers and makeup artists are scared. Jordan Dunn, the first African-American model to work for Prada in over 10 years, recently revealed an incident on the Jonathan Ross show involving a makeup artist who said she refused to work with her because she was white. The makeup artist didn't feel comfortable working on Dunn, a black woman. In either scenario, how does an ethnic model keep her stride?
You have to try harder. I worked once with Nigel Barker, and he literally told me that the difference between me and someone who's white is I have to dress the part, I have to look the part, I have to walk in a room and command it and act like the biggest bitch in the world for people to notice me because you want to be noticed. Because they're not going to notice you. You're going to be the last person they notice or want to look at.
Yet, how can one with striking features that are seemingly relatable to a wide audience have difficulty relating to a casting agent?
You're either white or black, like they know, but when they're not sure, it's like they don't know, where to place you, like what jobs you're going to be booking in agencies, when they have a girl, they know what the black girl's going to book, they know what the white girl's going to book, but they, when you're in between, it's hard.
Every casting is a detailed description, so it will usually say Caucasian or it'll say black Caucasian. Sometimes it'll just say a girl that's ethnically ambiguous. Unless you fit that category, my agents will try, if it says brunette, just try to squeeze me in.
According to Azura and Chanel, to be booked in a casting as an ethnic model does present its issues, especially considering that one's race is what ensures whether he or she will be booked.
Race is very important with model in the fashion industry because it determines, what kind of jobs you'll be booking and, what clients will book you. Especially as a black model, like you can't take these things personally.
May only have been modeling for 6 years. The Caribbean beauty, like many others before her, has come to understand the trend that depending on what group a product is marketed to depends who will land the job. Azura too continues to face experiences like rejection.
Some people will hire me based on the fact that they thought I was Hispanic. And then I'll walk in the door and they'll go, "You're not Hispanic." And I'm like, "No, it's me." And they're like, "But your pictures." I'm like, "Well, obviously that's how I photograph. Yeah. And we shouldn't have a problem." But most people in the industry have zero, it's crazy to say, zero imagination.
Racial diversity in fashion modeling changed in the slightest throughout the years?
I've been doing this for now 20 years and things have not changed.
It's all about diversity. The culture for young girls particularly is that they are using a lot of models as their fashion role models. So I think that does have a definite impact because we're in a culture now where people want to dress like the people that they see in the media or that they see on TV or that they see on the pages of magazines and models. So I think they're all different sorts of influences on people, and it's good in a way. I think it kind of broadens people's horizons. So,
role models on television. One can't help but to think of Tyra Banks, host of America's Next Top Model, and her elaborate photo shoots helping to polish amateur models. But is this the accurate depiction of a model's day-to-day life?
I feel like anything to do with that show is a misrepresentative to the entire industry. It doesn't portray anything that actually goes on. So I find that's wrong.
When it comes down to the number of ethnically diverse, according to Giselle.com, out of a total of 400,479 opportunities for a model to walk the runway during New York's Fall/Winter 2013 Fashion Week, 82.7 were Caucasian, 9.1 were of Asian descent, 6% were Black, 2% were Latina, leaving models of other races at a ground level percentage of 0.2. With 9% of each New York Fashion Week ever presented showcasing an all-white cast of models, this included 13 high-end companies such as J. Brand, Juicy Couture, Assembly, and Calvin Klein with no models of color. On the other end of the color wheel, designers like Diane von Furstenberg, Nicole Miller, Rebecca Taylor, Zach Posen, and J. Crew have blurred the color lines with racial diversity, although certain brands have no problem with bringing some color into fashion. Is it too soon to say all skin complexions on the spectrum have been given an equal shine?
Actually, I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough African American models on the runway. There may be someone that's 5 shades lighter than me that's African American, or 10 shades darker than me that's African American. And I think they should mix it up a little bit more.
Right.
You know, just because we are a diverse nation, they should show it.
On the other hand, improvement in racial diversity on and off the runway seems to be coming sooner rather than later, according to Lauren.
I mean, I notice now that when it comes to models, like, you don't see really blonde hair, blue-eyed models anymore. It's all about race.
I'm the only one who sees fashion as being all about race. Just over 30 years ago, former model Beth Ann Hardison took her fierce efforts from off the runway and combined it with her passion to promote racial diversity in fashion, starting with the creation of her own agency in 1984 that skyrocketed the careers of Tyson Beckford and Naomi Campbell. Hardison then co-founded the Black Girls Coalition in 1988, ultimately leading to her contributing as an editor behind Vogue Italia's all-black issue. Still, Beth Ann mentions that modeling is probably the one industry where you have the freedom to refer to people by their color and reject them in their work. Just what would top models of today think of such?
It's true. The fashion industry in general has no business etiquette. They can say and do whatever they like because they call it an art, not a business. Glamour, the chief editor, she usually does fittings before she does an editorial.
Okay.
And the girl that was supposed to do it couldn't. My agent thought it'd be a good way to get me in there to like see me. So gets me in, waiting for our waiting. This lady's taking very long. Storms into the office. She's yelling about some voice message. I don't think she realizes that I'm sitting in her office. And she's ranting about how the publishing company was getting on her to use more minorities. And she just was flipping out that she doesn't think that they're attractive, why she's the editor, she knows what's beautiful, what's fashion, and they're not fashion.
Vogue Italia's black issue created by both Beth Ann Hardison and Franca Soccani, who sought to draw attention to the lack of diversity in fashion models. Its impact seems to be a slow process, according to Azura and Chanel.
So I don't think it really had any impact. I think it was just marketing ploy, like, I don't know how to use the word, just a marketing deploy to like, check us out.
To be honest, I don't really see it affecting the fashion world. I mean, I feel like there's so much controversy between, you know, the amount of black models being used compared to the amount of white models, and I feel like they try to have these moments where they're using black models and, you know, just to show that, you know, they're using black, but I mean, it doesn't change how the industry is, you know?
Only Vogue Italia doesn't just cover the controversial subject of race. Its Vogue Black section of VogueItalia.com also covers voluptuous models in its Vogue Curvy section. How might models feel about this section embracing women of different sizes?
I agree with that. That makes people want to look in a magazine and go, oh, you know, I kind of look like I have those curves.
Right.
It's different.
Although differing body types may be a step forward in accepting women of all sizes, when it comes down to fitting sample sizes, it's a strict one-size-fit-all matter for every model.
Your measurements are so important with modeling. I have to be able to fit into the samples, and that's how they determine if I'm gonna work. They'll have a girl today, and by tomorrow, they're not using her anymore because the client's saying, oh, the pants are too big, the jacket's too small on her, so she wouldn't get booked again.
Models are being told to lose weight. Other models with trouble gaining weight are assigned different tasks.
I've always been told to put on weight, and yet I'll have other friends that are like 120, and the agents are yelling at them to go to the gym and lose weight.
Yet, what does this say about the models who are made to embrace their slim yet voluptuous bodies, such as the Victoria's Secret models, whose curves are emphasized in lacy pink advertisements? With the average model ranging as 25, 24, 34, Most Victoria's Secret models like Adriana Lima are 34, 24, 35. The required bust, waist, and hip measurements of a Victoria's Secret angel.
Fashion right now, all the girls are really weird and really skinny, and you look in an ad and I'm like, I wouldn't want to buy that dress. It doesn't even look, dress doesn't even look good in the picture. And I think that's why Victoria's Secret, most people don't realize why it sells so much. Those girls, no one, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to look like one of them?
In the case of fashion, beauty truly is in the eye of the brand. When it comes to Victoria's Secret models, the brand appears to urge its models to sell seductive looks, while other European brands like Prada display models who sell the trendy, serene, and serious look that tread the line of unique looking.
There was this one time I was working in London beginning last year, and I was going around to see some agencies, and one of the agencies told me that the girl that they were looking for was like a girl with a quirky, unique, like weird looking, and I was too beautiful
Oh my gosh.
for, you know, the look that they were going for.
According to Azura, she too has been deemed too pretty and not unique or weird looking enough, which seems to be becoming the next trend in fashion involving expressionless looks and dark eye makeup.
But it's fashion, you could use any, I mean, Zoolander's the perfect example. Putting garbage together as clothing and calling it derelict, and everyone thought that was funny, but that's literally what they do.
Let me show you. Derelict! It is a fashion, a way of life inspired by the very homeless, the vagrants, the crack whores that make this wonderful city so unique. And I want you, Derek, to be the face, the image, nay, the spirit of derelict.
Steinway Pianos, New York Life.
The stigma surrounding diversity in fashion models will always remain a trending topic as long as most catwalks. As style will continue to evolve in the future, with great effort and passion, one can hope the standard for beauty too will broaden. In the meantime, this is Aurora Folks reporting from SUNY Purchase College.